What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another Sorare scouting video on the channel here today. Today we have the Bundesliga. Of course, it is right around the corner, and I have been scouting to try and find them cheap beasts for you guys. Of course, a lot of the videos on the channel recently have been scouting videos. If you guys are enjoying the amount of effort and time I'm putting into these videos, I would really appreciate if you could leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Let's get into the Bundesliga beasts for today. Yes, guys, before we kick things off today, I want to give a massive shout out to Schmitter, who of course is our league expert in the Bundesliga and a massive friend of the channel. Of course, he has given me so much support over the past year or so making all the content here on the channel, so I did want to give him a massive shout out. So if you guys could go and drop him a follow in the description down below, I'd really appreciate that, because the man has worked his absolute magic in the video here today to pick out some 10 absolute beasts for you lot. So yeah, with that being said, of course, if you guys are new to Sorare and you're looking to get involved for the Bundesliga competition, please do remember to use my link in the description down below to sign up to Sorare. It helps me out more than you can imagine, because of course I'm just a small creator, so I would appreciate if you could do so. With that being said, our first name on the video today is, again, I will sort of reiterate, I've said this in past scouting videos, I'm horrible at pronunciating names, so I'll probably pronunciate a few of them wrong. But yeah, Shuto Machino, yeah, a young forward who was at hosting Kiel last season. As you can see here, he's got his little Kiel kit on, and you can see his past scores here. However, he has just moved to Borussia Mönchengladbach, and me and Schmidt were talking about how obviously Gladbach was so reliant on Alisson Player last season, but it looks like Machino is going to come in for them and be their man. And you can see some great performances in the back end of the season, especially one against his his current club now. You can see he scored 2 goals in this game, and that's probably a big reason as to why they went in for him or tried to sign him. But yeah, I thought it could be a bit of a sleeper pick, this one perhaps, but maybe a bit cheap, and especially as a forward player as well. You guys that have been on Sorare a while, you know that usually forwards are a bit more expensive. But yeah, I think Machino could be potentially on the cheaper side, and playing for a better club now, we could start to see some better scores, or you know, maybe some more scores that he had at the back end of the season. And of course, not to mention, you guys already know I love a player that has international utility, and you can see here he's played a few games here or there for Japan, and I think Japan's national team is incredibly underrated. So yeah, potentially a sleeper pick to start off the video here today. Up next is Aaron Zehnter. Now, for those of you guys that know Schmitter, you will know he is a Schalke fan and he absolutely loves the Bundesliga too. Therefore, this is when videos like this are perfect to get involved, or him involved in, because he knows all the players that are really good from the Bundesliga 2, the got to move to the Bundesliga and therefore could be quite cheap, and Aaron is definitely one of them. You can see here 20 years old, so an absolute youngster, and something, you know, what Schmitter has seen in him, Wolfsburg have also done the same. You can see last season he was on loan, not on loan, sorry, he did play for Paderborn, played 48 games, so, you know, definitely got your utility out if you had him in contender. And yeah, he plays sort of like a fullback role, as you can see, and just a young player that looks very decent. And of course, Wolfsburg have seen his ability in the last season with 10 assists as well, and he's signed for them, and I think it could again be one of those guys that he might have to work to get into the first team. But I feel like players like this are perfect for these types of videos, because, you know, it's easy for me to sit here and just list players from the best clubs and whatever, and you know, maybe they're ridiculously expensive, but I enjoy these videos for these types of players where they're like, it's a bit of a gamble, it's a bit of a risk, but it could pay off, and he'll definitely be very cheap. And up next we have another Bundesliga 2 man who have of course got promoted. However, this time it is a man who sticked with his club and didn't get promoted, or didn't get a transfer into the Bundesliga. It is Timo Hubers, who, yeah, I believe he actually played for Hanover in yeah, he played for Hanover before, and you can see here just some awesome scores, but something to note, a lot of these scores, of course, come from Bundesliga 2, and it is quite a big jump up Bundesliga 2 to Bundesliga 1, and Köln, perhaps they might not have an amazing season. However, I think the scores are fantastic. Even you can see here against Bayern Munich, that's a great score, even though the team lost 2-0. 30 AA. So yeah, I think AA wise, he's just a bit of a machine, and if he does get the decisive on his given day, yeah, he's pushing up there because 30 AA seems to be his like base level. If you like, you can see here even 30 AA in this game. So yeah, Timo looks like a bit of a beast, and no doubt he will definitely be cheap because of course Köln in the Bundesliga, who knows, really? Definitely not one of the bigger sides. So, yeah, potentially going to make his price pretty cheap. But you can see Sorare-wise, or Sorare scoring-wise, he actually looks like he could be a bit of a monster this season. Up next, we have a bit of a beast. It's Marco Friedl. Now, this is one that potentially could be a bit more expensive. I'm not too sure. Like I said, in all of these videos, I'm recording this ahead of the drop of the cards, so of course impossible for me to know the prices. I can only assume that these will be cheap, and Marco is one of those who is fantastic because obviously playing for Werder Bremen, great defender, and you guys know, again, I keep reiterating it, but anyone that plays for their national side, you can see recently here having a decent game for Austria with 40 AA. I just love players that have international utility. Now, I will say, of course, he's not a nailed starter for his national team, don't get me wrong. Austria are a very good national side. He has also had these odd DMPs, a little bit of, injuries, shall we say, which is the reason I believe his price might be a little bit cheaper than expected. But you can see when he is playing, wow, yeah, he's definitely one that is 100 capable, as you can see here, 100 bomb here, 90 bomb here. Yeah, a bit of a beast, and I think could hopefully potentially be cheap. And I love Austrian players as well. I think they're fantastic. And fortunately for the Bundesliga, there's a lot of them to pick for. I've gone with Marco for this one. We've gone with another man that I had in my gallery last year. It's Jae-Sung Lee, and this is Mr. Consistent, I think, is a good name for him. Now, he's not going to be, the same as some of the other picks in this video where they'll get you the 100 bomb here or there. I think this is more of just your consistent 40, 50, 60 type of players. You can see from his stats here, he's playing week in, week out, playing a little bit for the national team, of course, being Korea, and yeah, he's just consistent. And do not underestimate these people in Sorare. Whilst it is very important to be getting the players that will get you, in the top 10 or whatever, get you on a podium or whatever, these players cannot be underestimated. The consistent ones that you can put in there week in, week out, and you don't have to worry about DMPs and that type of stuff. And yeah, I have no doubt that he will probably be on the cheaper side of things, but Mainz, fantastic team. We saw how well they can do last year, and don't get me wrong, look at these scores here. He is definitely potential of getting that high 80s or the hundreds, but I wouldn't expect that from him. I just consistently expect about a 40, 50, 60 range for him, but you can see on screen here, it's just the consistency, and that is what you'll be paying for in this card, and hopefully it won't be too expensive. It's about time we threw a forward or two in the video. So I've gone ahead and picked out Mohammed Amoura, who is well, actually he kind of plays striker, and I believe he plays off to the left as well. However, you can see a very decisive, capable man, and he's been at Wolfsburg a little while now, so he'll actually have the doesn't need to worry about joining a new league or a new team and having that settle in period. It looks like he has the ability to be able to hit the ground running in the new season, of course if Wolfsburg do well. And you can see here again another man playing for his country, which is kind of a reoccurring theme, of course, playing for Algeria. And I do believe Algeria have the I think it's the AFCON this year, so you might have some utility there with him. Could be wrong on that, guys. But yeah, you can see here, a great scorer, a couple of goals in him, of course. This is in a different league, in the Pro League. But yeah, decent player for Wolfsburg, of course, was their last season, so has the ability to hit the ground running. We need a couple more forwards, and to be honest, it's quite hard to find cheap forwards. So, when you are scouting and you're looking for forwards and you're looking for cheap one, you have to bear in mind you're probably going to pay the forward premium on top. So Mohammed might be a slightly more expensive than, say, the defenders or the midfielders in this video, but I think a great pick nonetheless. And I thought I'd go back to back Wolfsburg players on you guys. It's Moritz Jenz, and you can see here he didn't have the greatest of times with Mainz in and out of the side. As you can see, that large periods in the squad, large periods out of the squad, and you can see though when he is playing, wow, what a card. But it looks like he's gone to Wolfsburg now, so I'm hoping that he will get the game time that he is after. And if he is scoring like this, say even this period here, if he's scoring like that at Wolfsburg, then he's going to be a great card to have in your gallery. All he needs is the consistent game time. If he consistently has got a nailed spot in the Wolfsburg side, I can see him being a fantastic card to pick up. So yeah, don't get me wrong, definitely have to do your own research on this one and make sure you think he is going to be the starter. But I think Moritz Jenz should be starter for Wolfsburg, and if he does, he's going to be a great pickup. And of course another defender, so should be nice and cheap. And speaking of mines, up next is Nelson Weiper. This is a bit of more of a rogue pick, and you guys know if you've seen these videos before, I do love to include maybe a bit more like niche picks, players that people might not see me picking, if that makes sense. And yeah, we put a very interesting one here. You can see, obviously playing for the this was in the Germans under-21 team that, of course, lost to England in the final. Come on, England! But yeah, and you can see he did score in that final, and just seems to be not given the opportunity yet for Mainz. However, if he gets a loan or if he manages to break into the team, I could see him being a bit of a problem in the Bundesliga. And you can see with the amount of decisives he's getting off the bench and how well he's done for the Germany under-21s, you would imagine he does get an opportunity, and he is a forward card, and he's 20 years old. So it's one of those. He could be very expensive as well, because obviously age, hype, just done well in the Euros, playing for a good club like Mainz. So absolutely, don't get me wrong, we could see this guy's price be crazy, but potentially someone to add to your scouting centres and have a look to see if his price is reasonable, whenever the Bundesliga cards do drop. We have another youngster. It is Tom Rothe, and this time he is from Union Berlin, and it's another defender. However, again, had to be included because I think he's again one of those that could potentially be a bit of a sleeper pick. Again, another risky one. I do love to include them in the video. You can see here, absolutely on and off for Union Berlin, no doubt. And you can see when he did play in Bundesliga 2, did play very well. So I'd be surprised if he doesn't, get a move or doesn't at least get an opportunity. Similar to the last player that we just spoke about there, I feel like he will deserve an opportunity, or he'll at least get a loan or something like that. And then obviously will have great utility on Sorare if he gets more opportunities, should we say. And especially, players at this age, they're not going to want them to just be sitting around not playing football. I think especially, trying to develop players, the most important thing you can do for them is give them game time. So yeah, be interesting to see what happens here with Tom, and I thought might be a nice one to include for the video today. And last but not least, it's an under-23s legend. It is Tom Krauss. A consistent performer for us last year in the Road to Glory. For those of you guys that don't know, we had a series on the channel where we use this card quite a lot, and of course he did play in England for Luton. However, he is playing for Köln now and done pretty well for them, as you can see in Bundesliga. He's moved to Köln now, but he was in the Bundesliga last season. Sorry, I got my words mixed up there. And played in the Championship for Luton. And this is when we did own him in the Under-23 Road to Glory, when he did play for Luton. So we obviously actually was able to watch him play quite a lot, because of course in the English league. However, it looks like he's gone and got a move to Köln, and could be quite a good pickup. I think he's going to be quite cheap as well, but he's a young midfielder, a lot of potential. I feel like his ceiling is quite high, and obviously didn't do too well in the Bundesliga at the back end of last season, but in the English leagues he looked quite decisive, capable. Obviously, he only picked up a few here, but when you watch him play, you feel like he's always capable of getting an assist. If he can convert that to the Bundesliga, of course, don't get me wrong, Bundesliga is a harder competition than the Championship, so it would be a step up, like a definite step up for him, but he's developing, always growing as a player. Of course, that comes with age, so hopefully he can take the step up this year, and I'm tipping Tom Krauss to do well. So there you have it, boys. There is my cheap beast for the Bundesliga this up-and-coming season on Sorare. Like I said at the start of the video, obviously this video is massively helped out by Schmitter, so I'd really appreciate if you go in the link down below in the description and drop him a follow. And yeah, if you need any help or advice, obviously let me know or let Schmitter know. And if you guys did enjoy the video today, please remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. We'll catch you guys in a future video.